Hello, my name's Paul-Beckett, and it's been a little minute since I've made a video actually. I think it's been maybe about 4 weeks, and that's because there's been quite a bit of change this end. I moved back to Glasgow, and I started work again. I don't know whether you've been following the trials and tribulations of my hectic life, but I quit my last job and I moved home for a little bit. Um, really not sure what I wanted to do, to be honest. I came out of an 11-year relationship and everything seemed a little bit up in the air. Obviously, my life in the last year and a bit has been completely different. My outlook completely different. So I wanted a bit of time to think, well, what is next for me and what feels right, rather than just what should I throw myself into and be doing and feel obliged and all of these things that we tend to do in life. So I took maybe like 5 months. Didn't have a job. Didn't know what was next. And finally, kind of, it came to me. I wanted to be back in Glasgow. I wanted to be working back at a school that I used to work at. And it's so funny because I've been using the word surrender for quite a while now, and I think I've been using it not 100% knowing what it means, and actually surrendering to this process of really not knowing what was next, but trusting that whatever was next was for the best, trusting that I'm held, I'm protected, I'm looked after, and everything's working out the way it should. Um, Doing that with no plan, no security, it felt really scary, and I stuck with it, and things started to fall into place. And it's so funny, the way you say things working out effortlessly when everything's in alignment. It really does. So my move went smoothly. An old school that I used to work at, where I've never been happier, like took me back. A flat just kind of landed in my lap. It was really cheap. I could afford it really easily. Like it was actually quite comedy how much the universe or whatever we're calling it was kind of like, yep, this is what's next for you. Uh, Everything just kind of reshuffled in the best possible way. So that's where I've been, in case you've been wondering. You probably haven't been wondering, but that's okay. So I've been thinking a lot. Obviously, it's been 4 weeks, and there's a lot been going on for me. And this word surrender kept on coming up for me again and again. And if we were to think about like kind of society's definition of surrender, it's almost a negative thing, isn't it? It's like I give up, you win, I lose. It's like a dominance, kind of like a submission thing or something. Like, oh my gosh, my understanding of it is so differently. My understanding of it is, you know best. You know best. I know nothing. I'm here. I'm doing the best that I can with this limited viewpoint. I know there's a plan for me, and I know that that plan is better than anything I can plan for myself. And so it's like, show me how good it can be. Show me what's next. And I tell you, like I say it. There's no it. It's us. Our true nature. Give it the wheels. Give it the wheel, or give it the reins, or whatever that saying is, and let it drive. And that's what I've really been doing. And it's been mind blowing, really, just how joyfully and how effortlessly things have worked out, from having 5 months of really just thinking, what is going on with my life? What's next? I'm out for a relationship, I'm out for a job, I've moved back to my hometown, I was in my teenage bedroom at my mum's house. And I think my main kind of takeaway from thinking about surrender has been like, when something comes up that I didn't anticipate or that I didn't plan as the next step, knowing that that's perfect, even though I might not see it there. So, for instance, I was hoping for, there was a kind of cover job going in the school that I was at, and I was hoping for a minute that maybe it would go to me. It didn't go to me. Now, before my self-realization, I would have huffed and puffed. I'd have been like, no, this was supposed to be for me. This is what I wanted. That's the way it's supposed to work out. And I didn't. I was like, okay, so that didn't happen. That's what I kind of thought might have happened. It didn't happen. That mustn't have been for me, because I know that what's for me can't pass me by. So I was like, as much as I know my true nature, I know the perfection of what I am. And in knowing that, I know that every other self I come across is exactly the same thing. So the girl who got that job, I was like, God, this is for you then. This has always been for you because that's the way it happened. There's no such thing as a mistake. There's no such thing as a coincidence. There's no such thing as, it doesn't need me trying to micromanage a situation or resist the flow of what's happening. And so that was a really, really important lesson for me. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So even though I expected that, and even though I kind of thought that that was what was best for me and things, okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not because that didn't happen. And so not even maybe it's not, it's definitely not because that's not what happened. And what's in front of me, what's on my plate all the time is exactly what's supposed to be on it. So that's how I've been working with surrender. And, it's so funny, like the I didn't get that, but the thing that I did get has turned out to be even better for me because it's kind of right now while my life's a little bit in flux, I was moving and things, it's less responsibility, it's, I'm still on the same money, it's less prep and things like that. So it's just trusting that I'm being guided and I might not always know the right way to go. If you'd say me as a small I, the little I, Paul hasn't got a clue. Okay, even now with my expanded perspective on things, I don't see the bigger picture. I don't see. I sometimes I might have a perspective which is 1,000,000% different to the way it was before, but I certainly don't see the big picture. So it's trusting that whatever is on my plate at any given moment is what's for me to eat and nothing else. I don't need to be looking at anybody else's. I don't need to be kind of peddling like mad in the background. So surrender for me in these last 4 weeks has become really, really important. And it's just made me think like how often in my life have I tried to micromanage? How often in my life have I tried to manipulate? How often in my life have I tried to be like a puppet master, pulls all the strings to go for everything to fall into place in a way that I think things should be. And it was always in a way that I think things should be for me. I was never thinking about other people. I want this, I want it, blah, 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 blah. And I know that I'm just a tiny part of the all. Like this character, this puppet that I'm currently occupying is just one in, a cast of infinity. So, how can I say that I'm to be the star of the show, everything needs to go, exactly how I've planned? Because I know that whatever twist or turn, whatever way it turns, is going to be even better for me. And that's been proven to me. So that's been something that I've been thinking about a lot over the last few weeks actually. And on top of that, I've also kind of been thinking, the problems that life kind of throws at you, or the challenges or the difficulties or, all of those things, really thinking about them and realizing that they can all be boiled down to one essential problem. Like the one problem that we believe we have is the belief in separation. And I say the belief in separation because my eyes still show me this body, your body, that body over there, existing in time and space, in completely different shapes, completely different stories, completely different characters assigned to them. So I perceive that with my physical senses. So the belief in separation, if I was to trust my eyes, my physical senses, it's there, isn't it? Wow, I'm separate, I'm there, you're there. But living from a different way, living from the heart, with the heart sees no separation. So my belief in separation is what's changed. It's not my perception of the apparent separation that I'm seeing around me, but it's knowing that I'm just connected to the all. And by being connected to the all, I am the all. And so is every other little strange shape and size of puppet that's wandering around, So it was really about me when things come up for me that maybe rocked the boat a little bit or ordinarily would have sent me into an absolute tailspin of, panic or resentment or anger or jealousy, of me realizing, like, hang on a minute, I'm not separate. So that person that got that job that I wanted is ultimately me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a strange thing to say, and I know it's a strange thing to say because I still perceive, the world with separate bodies, separate things, exactly the way everybody who's watching this does. But it's not perceiving, it's a knowing with the heart. And with that knowing of the heart, that, separation is just a really, really convincing illusion, it's made it much, much easier for me to fall into this surrender and just to be like, okay, show me then. I know that what I'm seeing isn't the whole story. You show me, you know. Do you know what I mean? And when I say I and you, it makes it sound dual, doesn't it? There's no duality, because nothing exists other than what we truly are. What we truly are, and you call that what you like, call it, you know. The all is something that I've got into lately, and I don't even know where I've picked this up from. I've picked it up from somewhere, but it kind of sums it up to me a lot. I used to say quite a lot, the one infinite creator, things like that. That still makes it sound like a character, like something existing, like a person. Does that make sense? Even though it's like this ultimate cosmic being, that or anything, like even by calling it the creator makes it sound like there might be something else other than the creator or something. There is nothing else. So the all for me really, really as summed up when I talk about our true nature, because it is the all. There is nothing other than that. And if there is nothing other than what I truly am in the world, what do I have to be scared of? What do I have to be in competition with? What do I have to be like resentful of? All of these things, which Paul before absolutely loved doing. He loved holding a grudge. He loved being in a competition, loved trying to prove himself to be better than somebody, which is now, I mean, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. Because what would be the point in me having this this new perspective, this new way of being, if all I was going to do is use it to judge what I considered my prior self, which was just a character I was playing that I'd made up. That's all it was. That's all it was. So in order for me just to, you know, forgive that, forget it, look at it, stop judging it, it makes it much easier for me to be sitting here now going, okay, I used to be in the river. The stream was flowing, the current was going. I could have let it carry me at any time, but nope. I was holding on to the edges like mad because I knew better. I knew better. I saw nothing. I knew nothing, but I knew better. Okay, so the opportunities that come to me, if it wasn't exactly the opportunity that I expected it to be, I'd let it go. No, that's not what's meant to be. Because I knew what was meant to be, of course. Did I? Knew nothing. So really for me now, just knowing that whatever is put in front of me at any given time is what is put in front of me, and there's something for me to learn, or there's a way for me to serve, or there's some higher purpose to everything. And it's really funny, you know, because I'm even thinking now, you know, you bump into people, really what seems randomly, nothing is random. Nothing is random in this experience. I've been bumping into people, like I sat on a bench the other day waiting for a train with my dog and got speaking to this older guy, and we sat speaking for 45 minutes and we had so much in common. But if you'd have looked at us, if there was no reason for us ever to be sitting in this lifetime chatting away for 45 minutes, and we did. And as he's saying things, little light switches are flicking with me, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm supposed to be here listening to this, because, you know, he was talking about, I try and do one kind thing a day, and I think if I bring a smile to one person a day, then that's my job done. And I thought, wow, and I was like, well, you know, what kind of world would it be if we all did that? You know, if we all saved because we knew that we were saved, instead of grabbing, instead of taking. Because while we're believing in separation, we believe to get is to take or to have. We believe that it's we can only grab for ourselves. But that idea of surrender, of waiting to be saved, and the absolute like twist of this is, when you save, you are saved faster. Does that make sense? The things that have turned up in my life, when I'm given, I'm receiving all the time. And listen, I know I've said this in a million videos, but honestly, it's been earth-shaking for me to realize that giving and receiving are simultaneous. When I'm giving, I'm opening myself up to receive. If I take and I hold on to it to myself, I block all of my channels of receiving. So the world has got it upside down, do you know, but the world is upside down. Yeah, I think we all know that anyway. I know that anyway. So, yeah, I'm sitting speaking to this older guy, and so many little things that I've just been thinking about, whatever he's just touching on in his conversation, and I'm laughing to myself, because I'm going, like, you know, this is funny. Like, I was meant to land on this bench, which I thought was at random, because I was early to get a train. and this guy just happened to be there. No happenstance about it. You know, the things he was mirroring back to me about, like, you know, random acts of kindness, about how he's learned, like, I think he was 70, how he's learned that as he gets on with his life, that it's all about how he can make people feel. That's what they'll remember about him, and all that. And I'm just thinking, gosh, I was supposed to sit here. And so, knowing that that was supposed to happen, I'm now looking at all of these little interactions that happen with me, and I'm looking for the opportunity to love. I'm looking for the opportunity to offer a service or receive a service. Because it's fine to receive, you know, no one's saying you can't have things. Like, it's all about putting yourself in, like, a passive role of service. That's not what service is. As you give, you receive. So sometimes someone's service is to me, as my service may be to somebody else. Because if could you imagine one organism, if I'm not looking after myself, if I'm looking after every other part, then every other part is sporadically looking after me, which means that we are all looked after without having to fend for ourselves. So this is the idea of surrender that I've got, is just, it's linked with service, it's linked with giving, and it's linked with me letting go of the reins and saying, I don't know, show me how good tomorrow can be, show me how much better the day after that can be. And let me tell you something, my days have been getting repeatedly better. As I speak, I have this friend, Piana, she lives in Denmark, and we speak all the time. And our journey, she's also self-realised. We met through David Bingham, and our journeys have been so synchronised. So we'll speak like at least once a week. But it's kind of like I've been given a classmate to do this work with, because as things are coming up for me, really synchronistically, it's coming up for Piana at the same time. And we're both saying at the moment, wow, we've letting go. Who knew that letting go was the way to get things done? Because it seems so counterproductive. Who knew that not chasing people, like, in your life would mean that they naturally, you know, were there? Who knew that that just loving meant that that's what you would receive? It's honestly, it is so simple. But we've been playing this really complicated, hard game that we've come up with. And we've been laughing so much amongst ourselves, because between us in this last month, both of our lives have become really, really super effortless. And I get that you might be listening to this video being like, oh, well, whoop-de-doo for you. Do you know what I mean? I am sitting very much in the shit, because I know that life can be like that. So I really don't want to sitting here like, oh, everything's fine for me, like, poor you. Like, that's not what I mean. I'm sharing this because it feels so counterintuitive to let go. It seems so counterintuitive to give, to receive. It seems so counterintuitive by society standards to think, let me be of service in any way that I can be, because when I am of service, I am given to myself, because it comes at me from all these other unexpected ways. And it really does. Honestly, it really does. Like, I don't know how. I can only tell you my experience. I can only be honestly share my experience with you. But yes, surrender. So surrender is the exact opposite of the way we've been taught in society. It's not a passivity. It's not like, you know, putting yourself underneath something. It's offering yourself up to something that wants to love you, something that wants to look after you, and that's our true nature. But while we're busy being that very important person we think we are, that little ego character, and saying, no thanks, I don't need any help, I don't want to be in the flow, don't carry me along on the current, I'd rather swim the other way upstream, thanks, then that's fine. We've got free will, you can do that. But don't wonder why everything's so hard, and don't wonder why all of a sudden, you know, things don't work out so well. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there is another way to be. So think about what surrender means. What does surrender mean to you? Because I definitely had negative connotations about it. Think about what does service mean to you, because I would never have used that word before this happened to me. On the day of my realization, I had a lot of very strange, probably you could call them mystical experiences, you know, like visions, this, that, the other, hearing sounds, feeling feelings, and coming out of my mouth, I said, I need to be of service, and I'd never used that word before, and I didn't truly even know what it meant. You know, when I self-realized, I didn't even know that it had happened to somebody else because I wasn't spiritual. I wasn't religious. I'd never heard of it before. So, you know, it was when I just verbalized after saying I was God, do you know what I mean, using the G word, I I then came out of my mouth really soon after, I need to be of service, and I didn't know what it meant. And a year and a half, a year and a bit, whatever it is down the line, not a year and a half at all, it's like maybe a year and 2 months, being very dramatic there. But I realise why I said that, because when I serve, I receive. When I give, I receive. It's that two-way motion. It's like breathing in and out. It's like the vibration of everything in the universe. There's a movement to it. It's not nothing's static. Nothing's I've got it. I'm holding on to this. This is mine. Nobody come near me. It's a give, give, give. Giving is proof of having. So when I'm kind to somebody, I prove myself to have kindness because I've got it to give. When I'm loving, I prove myself to be loved because I've got it to give. So it feels counterintuitive to the way the world has kind of molded us, but I promise you that surrender, service, and this whole idea of something working both ways at once, a flow of energy, a really, really natural flow of energy. It's just that way to sit in what we call alignment sometimes, in just this stream of abundance. So I'm sharing that with you because I've just had a month of experiencing it. So there you go. Take from that what you will. If it seems counterproductive, if it seems counterintuitive, that's because it totally is. Because the way we've been taught is upside down. But don't take my word for it. Like, try it yourself. Try it yourself. Give kindness. Give love. Give what you can. Materially. Just give, and then sit back. Show me what you're putting on my plate. And if it's not what you expected, eat it anyway. Eat it anyway, because you don't know. I don't know. We don't know. We're not seeing it from above. We're not seeing the whole picture, the whole jigsaw together. We're seeing it as being one tiny little imagined piece in the jigsaw, and how will we ever know what the picture is? So, a little bit of something to think about, okay? And I'm glad to be back doing the videos. Actually, it was quite fun, this. So, I love you.